This episode is brought to you by Ariston Specialties in Bloomfield, Connecticut. They're makers of amazing olive oils and other Greek delights. Check them out online at aristonspecialties.com. That's Ariston, Ariston, specialties.com. What if we told you all you have to do is pour some delicious things into a closable plastic bag to grill, bake, or pan fry any piece of fish or meat to make it extraordinary? It's the home cook's way to do what restaurant chefs do. And it takes them hours to do it. So coming right up here on faithmiddleton.com, we have it all for you. This is now the home of brand new editions of the Food Schmooze Party. And to reserve a seat at our table, just go to, sorry to repeat it, faithmiddleton.com. The All-Star Gang is back. Chris Pressberry of Metro Beast in Simsbury, Connecticut, and Alex Province of Hartford and Madison and Phoenix. Okay. And Joanne Church is our associate producer. And so she's here, working the show. All right. So, Chris, why don't you get us started with an easy marinade for people?
Okay. I'm going back in time. This is a marinade I've used probably since the 80s. And it's the simplest marinade. And you can use a store-bought product or you can make your own. And I'm talking about Italian dressing. And I don't know if everyone out there even remembers using Italian dressing to marinate chicken or steak or even fish. I'll use Newman's Own in it when I don't feel like making it or have time to make it. I always keep a bottle of Newman's Own. That works fine. Cans, it doesn't even matter.
And what do you do?
Italian dressing is basically olive oil, salt, pepper, a pinch of sweetness. I use honey, some Italian herbs like oregano, basil, and you can find recipes online. There are tons of them. And you take let's use chicken as an example. I'm going to do chicken legs. I take my chicken legs, just like you were saying earlier, I put them in a Ziploc bag, right? I get them in there nicely arranged. And then I just pour my Italian dressing into the bag. I lock it up. I use a Ziploc, put it in a little pan, so just in case it opens, and then I put it in the fridge. And you can do that up to overnight. You can do it from the night before you grill, or you can just do it for a couple hours. And the more you marinate, of course, the more flavor you get into the chicken. So if you do the overnight, you get a better result. But like I said, even if you do for a couple hours, it still works.
So can I add just one thing? Because when I do my marinade, you're going to hear me at a certain point say to you, throw out the marinade. Don't use it. Right, Chris? So because raw meat has been in there or raw fish, raw protein.
You can cook it.
Cook it, right? Like you would the meat. And then
you can take the marinade out of your bag after you've removed your chicken. And so let's say we brought our chicken to the grill and you still have that marinade in the bag. You can take that marinade, throw it in a little pan and put it on the grill next to the chicken. And as long as you bring it up to a boil, you can then use it as like a dressing on the chicken.
Oh, okay.
And that works with all marinade. But it's very important to bring it to a boil, whatever the marinade is.
For how long?
I always laugh
just up to the boil, and that takes care of anything that was in there. And then it's basically think about it. Then like your chicken is cooked, your marinade's cooked, so it's the same thing.
Matt and I always tease each other when we're making marinades, and there's like chicken in the bowl. We always be like, here, try this. What does it need? Does this need more salt?
No.
Just a joke.
No, that is just a joke, people. Yeah, throw it out or cook it, but do not use it in its raw state after.
And I change utensils halfway through cooking and all that stuff as well.
Or use those wipes.
Clean the kitchen.
That's what I do.
Can I ask you? Did anybody grow up on what is it? Good Seasons dressing?
Oh yeah,
in those packages, or in bottles.
Lipton made
it was
one.
So delicious. I thought it was delicious.
Yeah,
we had it over the weekend on the boat. One of our friends, Stu, puts it on new potatoes. Cooking on a boat is tough, and then you just sprinkle Lipton's onion soup on potatoes and roast them. And then we
Yes.
also use what was left and put it in sour cream for to dip your potato chips in.
Yes. That's an awesome.
So 1980s, right?
Those are so 80s, but I tell you what, they do work.
Yeah, that's like fine with me as long as it tastes good.
Oh,
okay.
It's so nostalgic and it tastes so good.
Okay, Faith Middleton here with the All-Stars for our fresh new edition of the Food Schmooze Party. And to make it easy to find, you can find our brand new shows at faithmiddleton.com. Okay, I like to take a bowl. Alex, I want to hear what you're going to do because I know you guys are really good at this. But I like to take a bowl and I mix together a few shakes of soy sauce, usually gluten-free for my gluten-free pals. Then a squeeze from a whole lime, as much of that lime as possible, a squeeze from a whole orange. And then I take a clove of garlic and I mince it up and a glug of maple syrup. Usually I get it from Chris.
Yeah.
And I stir it up and I taste it. I haven't put any protein in there yet. I taste it to say, what do I think? Is it too tart? Is it too sweet? And I add either one or the other until it's just right. And then I put it all in a plastic bag or in a bowl. And I put my protein in there. And I've only been doing mine for like 10, 15 minutes, Chris.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize what you were saying, that if I keep it longer, I'm going to get even more flavor.
Yes.
But it's delicious, that tangy plus and some people would dump some pepper flakes in there. It's really good. And then I throw it out. Chris and Alex recook it as long as it comes to a boil, and they reuse it, maybe drizzle it over your piece of fish or whatever. Okay.
So if instead of halfway through cooking, I'll put the salmon back in the marinade and then put it back on the fire and obviously cook it, thoroughly. But I don't, I try to get another coating out of it on the whatever.
That's a great idea. That's really a great idea.
Yeah, and if I have the little pot, like I was saying, on the stove next to my chicken, I'll throw a brush in it and just brush, now that, because it comes up to a boil pretty quickly, because you're not talking about a lot of liquid. And then you can just brush your chicken or whatever with that marinade that's sitting in the little pot next to it. That works too.
Yeah.
So my secret ingredient is smoked paprika from Spain, the kind that come in the little tins. They're really cute to have around because they're like kitchen tchotchkes that you can put on the stove. But if you just take olive oil, and then I actually use a metal bowl that I can smash the garlic in on the bottom of the bowl with like a pestle or whatever. What are they called, Chris?
Yeah, mortar and pestle.
Yeah, and then
the
salt, obviously, black pepper, olive oil is key, and then a couple heaping tablespoons of that smoked Spanish paprika, and that, and you can do citrus as well. And I actually squeeze the lime or lemon and then turn it inside out. I cut them in half, and then I put the whole thing in, the rind and all, because there's all that good oil in the skin and the rind.
It's a great idea.
That on chicken makes, it gives it a beautiful orange color. It's smoky, grilled chicken like that. And then you can also take that grilled chicken and then almost turn it into a arroz con pollo, where you like cook it with rice and you have this super easy chicken and rice, basically. It's been seasoned with.
Marinade really gets in the rice.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Do you have quickly? Does anybody have anything with mustard? A marinade with mustard? What would you add to mustard? And then
powdered mustard is good in anything. So we add powdered mustard, the yellow Coleman's powdered mustard, to the marinade, Faith, that you just made with the soy and green onions and garlic, and for salmon. And it gives it, it's like you do with anchovies. It disappears. You don't taste it, but it just gives it depth. And then we coat when we smoke meats, we use yellow mustard as like the binder, so everything sticks to ribs or whatever.
That's a great.
You don't taste it, but it's like
mustard's
glue.
Also good with sweet. So if you do like mustard and maple syrup or mustard and honey, of course, honey mustard being very classic, right?
Oh, right.
And those are great marinades to do on any kind of fish or chicken, right? And you're right, it gives you that pork. It gives you that little stickiness too.
Yeah. We throw it into our barbecue sauce as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and I just keep. I think I'm probably not supposed to say this, but I keep getting so hungry listening to our own show. It's ridiculous. I thought, every time I hear me, I say the same thing. Oh, I'm going to make that tonight. You don't have to have a grill, by the way. You can do this in a pan. You can bake it in the oven. You can do it. You can do it on the grill. It's all legal. It's just a way of flavoring your protein.
Yeah.
Can you over marinate?
You can, but it's all depends on the amount of salt or vinegar acid you use, right? So if you're using like when you do those high lemon juice, lime juice marinades, and then also how delicate whatever you're doing. Like, so when I do the chicken legs, they're pretty tough. They can go overnight. If I were doing a piece of salmon though, that would, if you left that in the marinade overnight, it could get over marinated. And then it'll get a little soft after it cooks. Have you ever seen that where it gets almost like the texture of it gets a little
because it's cooking a little bit,
it is
right?
actually
The
cooking in the marinade. Yes.
It's funny.
That happens with shrimp.
Yeah,
right?
Shrimp's another one. Yep. Those are lighter the protein. So fish, shrimp, those kinds of things, always a little lighter on the amount of time it sits in the marinated. And then all the ribs, the chicken legs and thighs, those tougher
hanger steak,
they can sit in the marinade for overnight, and it's even better because that does break, because like Alex said, it cooks it also breaks it down, so it makes it more tender. That's
with hanger steak. We forgot about beef, but lime with beef and then some spice like jalapenos.
Faith is the queen of lime juice and beef.
And soy goes into everything because it's just that umami flavor. But you guys just brought me back to my grandmother, my abuela in Spain. When we would visit, I didn't speak Spanish, so I had no idea what she was saying. Didn't really understand her. But she was communicated through food. She was such an amazing cook. And her refrigerator, if you opened it, wasn't like ours today with snacks and all this sort of stuff. It would be glass bowls of marinating chicken, for example, and everything would be made the day before, marinate the day before. And it would be a glass jar with the quintessential garlic, olive oil, and just putting it with saran in a glass bowl overnight just gives it so much flavor. I mean, it turns something that's boring into something delicious and economical too. It doesn't. Oh yeah, garlic is cheap.
Yeah. Is she married to anyone right now?
Well, she's married to my abuelo in heaven. But
oh wow, okay. Stick with us for all the cheerful news. This is okay. Oh wow! I love her no matter where she is.
Me too.
I love what she does. Yeah. Okay, so we want to let you get to it and start cooking. So, Mark Raymond will be back, and so until next time for a fresh edition of the Food Schmooze Party at faithmiddleton.com, we'll be seeing you.